The evening was cold, the rain relentless, and John Kennedy stood in front of a glittering hotel entrance, his coat damp, his shoes slick with water. He looked no different from any weary traveler, hair wet from the storm, face lined from the day's exhaustion, and a leather bag clutched in his hand. Yet what no one around him realized was that this was not just any hotel. This was his hotel. Built from the ground up through years of blood, sweat, sacrifice, and vision. But tonight, as he walked up to the grand front desk, no one seemed to recognize him. To the staff, he was just another tired man asking for shelter. "Good evening," John said softly, placing his ID on the counter. "I need a room for the night." The receptionist, a young man with sharp eyes and a dismissive air, looked him up and down. He frowned at the old coat, the soaked shoes, the bag that looked more practical than expensive. He tapped at the computer, then leaned back in his chair with an arrogant smirk. "I'm sorry, sir," he said coldly. "We're fully booked." John raised a brow. "Fully booked? I called earlier. Your website said there were several suites available." The receptionist didn't flinch. "Well, for our kind of guests, those suites are reserved. We don't offer them to." He paused, scanning John's worn clothes, walk-ins. "You understand, right?" The sting of humiliation hit John like a knife. But he said nothing. He simply nodded, thanked the man quietly, and stepped aside, watching as a couple in designer coats strolled up moments later and were instantly offered a luxury suite with a smile. John lingered in the lobby, his heart heavy. Not because he couldn't find a room, he could have called any number of luxury hotels in the city and been welcomed with open arms. But this wasn't about a room. This was about principle. This was about respect. And this was about how people treated others when they thought no one was watching. He slipped out of the lobby unnoticed, disappearing into the rain. But he didn't go far. The following morning, when the rain cleared and the sun bathed the hotel in golden light, the staff gathered for their daily briefing. The receptionist from the night before straightened his tie, feeling smug. He thought about how he had protected the brand's reputation by keeping out the man who looked too ordinary for their elite clientele. Then the general manager walked in, pale and nervous. "Everyone, listen carefully," he said. "The owner is visiting today. Mr. Kennedy himself. He wants to see how we're treating guests." Whispers rippled through the staff. The receptionist's smirk faltered. He had heard stories of John Kennedy, the self-made millionaire who started with nothing but determination, who had slept in his car while building his empire, who swore his hotels would be places where every guest felt valued. Moments later, the doors opened. And in walked John Kennedy. The receptionist's jaw dropped. He recognized him instantly, the